We know Xbox would love Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation, but would they allow PlayStation Plus onto Xbox? So the strategy of Xbox Game Pass is to literally get the service everywhere that they can get, to get as many people into the ecosystem. They would love more than anything to strike some sort of deal with PlayStation and Nintendo to bring the service over, even if that meant just the Xbox Cloud gaming part of it, where people can just log in, use their current platform that they have, the PS5 or the Nintendo Switch, and then play all of the Game Pass stuff. I'm sure there's some sort of business deal that could be made between all of these companies where everybody would benefit from something like this. But from the Nintendo perspective or from the PlayStation perspective, they probably don't want to take that risk right now. Now, when it comes to PlayStation Plus, would Xbox ever be open to that? And it seems like we have some more information that would suggest they wouldn't be, as we got some deeper dives into the CMA documents. So let's take a look at it. So we have an article here from Tweakdown, and it says Sony tried to bring PlayStation Plus to Xbox, but Microsoft will not permit it. Now, again, that's not surprising. Obviously, at the same time that they want to bring Game Pass over to everything, they still want to be the leaders in the subscription service, and they are going to compete on the business side of things. And bringing PlayStation Plus over to Xbox would potentially hurt them, again, unless they can make a deal that helps everybody out. But this is specifically from Sony's CMA response. They say here, third, Microsoft argues that demand for multi-game subscription services would not tip towards Game Pass because Microsoft would also make Game Pass available on PlayStation. But the wider availability of the leading provider Game Pass, now endowed with exclusive, irreplaceable content and protected by direct and indirect network effects, would make it harder, not easier, for rival multi-game subscription services to compete. Microsoft stands that Game Pass availability on PlayStation would be a panacea for the harm from this transaction rings particularly hollow, given that Microsoft does not permit PlayStation Plus to be available on Xbox. Now, I mean, that makes complete sense. At the end of the day, the fact that PlayStation has come out with their PlayStation Plus competitors, with all their tiers, why would they allow Game Pass onto the service? They want to keep everybody within the PlayStation ecosystem. They want people signing up for PlayStation Plus, and they don't want to deter people. Even if there is some crazy deal where they get a massive bag from Xbox and from Microsoft, they want to be able to grow their ecosystem for years and years to come. It's not just the short term that these companies look at these things. And Microsoft responded to Sony blocking Game Pass on PlayStation. They say here, nor is there any basis for the idea that acquiring Call of Duty could tip subscription services in Xbox's favor. Sony has chosen to block Game Pass from PlayStation, so it is not available on PlayStation. And I find this stuff hilarious, this arguments about PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass not being on each other's platforms, and how this proves that you can still compete, but you don't want to compete because you're not allowing that service on your platform. Obviously, these are businesses. Their goal at the end of the day is going to be subscription in the future, in the long run, the next 10 years, going into the next generation. It's going to be the amount of monthly active users they have within Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Cloud Gaming, they have within PlayStation Plus, and each one of those tiers. Right now, we've seen with the recent financial reports, the actual amount of monthly active users on PlayStation is falling, even though the revenues increase, which I think it's something that they are going to try their hardest to turn around. Yes, the revenues increasing is completely good, but that's because the tiers and the pricing for PlayStation Plus are higher. But what their main goal is going to be to have high monthly active users that are within there for months and months to come, continuously paying the subscription price. And that's the same thing with Xbox. And we even have more information now that is kind of speculative, but as to where the amount of subscribers are with Xbox Game Pass. So this comes via, again, the CMA documents. We got a lot of information out of that, stuff that you could dig into and find, stuff that hasn't even been talked about yet. But Sony is claiming that Xbox Game Pass has reached 29 million subscribers. Well, the weird thing about this is not an official number from Xbox and from Microsoft. Their last official number, I believe, was 25 million, but it says here, Game Pass leads PlayStation Plus significantly. Microsoft already has a substantial lead in multi-game subscription services. Game Pass has 29 million subscribers to Xbox Game Pass Console and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and is expected to grow substantially in the future. The multi-game subscription tiers of PlayStation Plus considerably lag, with fewer than that's redacted the number of subscribers. When you take a look at the entire ecosystem, like all of PlayStation Plus, I believe they're at around 45 million. So they're specifically looking at the PlayStation Plus extra and premium, I would assume, and not the essentials. Because if you add an essential, obviously the number overall is going to be higher on PlayStation than on the Xbox Game Pass subscribers. But the 29 million that they came up with is completely just a forecast. We don't actually know if Game Pass is at 29 million. It could be. I mean, the last number they reported, I believe, is 25 million. I'm assuming that they will report again once they hit their next milestone, maybe 30 million, maybe 35 million. But PlayStation is specifically using market data analytics from the firm Ampere Analysis. And we have Piers Harding Rolls here, who works there. He is a research industry analysis in the games industry at Ampere Analysis. And he says the 29 million is not our current number unless a forecast. I think the citation is related to Microsoft's dominance of the multi-game subscription market. In my GDC talk, I showed this chart, which is what is being referenced. So PlayStation looks at this, they extrapolated it out, 29 million, and they're using that number to say that overall they're dominating PlayStation, because when you look at the PS Plus Extra and the PS Plus Premium tier, they have far more subscribers. And then if you add in Call of Duty to that, it's going to be impossible to catch up. Interesting argument to make by PlayStation by saying Call of Duty going to Game Pass is going to make it impossible for anyone to catch up to the service. And I think there is some truth to that. I do think it's going to have a huge effect if this deal passes without any restrictions and Call of Duty jumps into Xbox Game Pass. You have to look at the amount of people that would be willing to just pay that $15 a month to play Call of Duty all year round, while knowing they're also getting access to other games. Because the question here is, if it's somebody who only plays Call of Duty, if they do the simple math, they're probably not going to pay the $15 a month just to play Call of Duty. They're probably going to just go buy the game, because at the end of the day, it's going to be cheaper. But you're going to have people who see this $15 and they can literally play Call of Duty and play a bunch of other things. They're going to take that chance. And I think it will have a big effect. And then you take a look at everything that's happened with Xbox Series S over Black Friday and going forward, the price of it. People were picking up the Xbox Series S in the United States for $199. An absolutely insane price. Impulse buy. It's a lot of money, but like at the same time, it really isn't a crazy amount of money. It's an impulse purchase for a lot of people. That $200 for a console that plays the newest games that are coming out, you almost can't resist buying the Xbox Series S. And then if they're able to do the advertising with like Call of Duty on it, it is going to be a force that is going to be hard to stop. But I mean, we'll wait and see how all this breaks down. It's a very interesting time in video games. The landscape, the market is completely changing. It is now going really full to subscription. It is going to be cloud gaming, where all these companies are going to be competing. And at the end of the day, as a gamer, as a consumer, what we want is whatever the outcome is, whether this deal passes or not, as long as it creates more competition, where we are starting to see the PlayStation Plus stuff get better and Xbox Game Pass get better, that's the perfect scenario. If this deal does go through, maybe it will force PlayStation to put games like God of War Ragnarok and all of their upcoming future games like Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 into PS Plus Premium. Because if they do that, it just brings way more value. I'll be signing up for it right away. And I think that is what the outcome of this could end up being. If Xbox gets Activision Blizzard and then starts putting Call of Duty into the subscription service. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all this. What do you think about Xbox potentially at 29 million subscribers? What do you think the real number is? Do you think they're closer to 29 or still closer to 25 million? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.